Hello, this is Robert. I'm a tax attorney here at TRP, and we're going to be answering another frequently asked question. What do you do when you got 10 or more years of unfiled tax returns? So here's what to do and why it's easier than some tax professionals might make you believe. So first, here's what not to do. Don't just go get everything filed. Some people go to CPAs and enrolled agents, and they're not really that versed in this back due tax type stuff, and they just go file everything. Well, sometimes it really wasn't even required. You might be filing things that don't need to be filed. The IRS and state might have already come up with a lower balance for you, or they're just not even looking for it. Most likely, unfiled returns less than 10 years old are not going to be expired yet, though, but some might be close. So, what I'm talking about here is when they do the tax return for you, usually it's going to be lagging for 3 to 5 years before they do it for you. And then by the time they do it for you, it's not going to be expired yet. Because, for example, we're in 2019 right now. If you didn't file 2009, well, they probably didn't do 2009 for you until, probably 2013. So you're looking at 2023 about to get that expired. So here we go with the IRS. We're going to cover the IRS first, then we'll cover states. IRS is not filed for more than 10 years. First, see what they have filed for you, if anything. Ask about 140 codes on any unfiled years and if they're still looking for it. So sometimes the IRS skips old years or does a year for you with a lower balance, and you're lucky. The best option is sometimes to file only what is required. And so 140 code is the code that they put on it if you didn't file it. So right now, probably 2010 or 2011, you would ask, do you guys have a 140 code on those older years? And if they say no, say, is it required? And a lot of times they're just going to say no. And a lot of times they're going to say yes. We have data for you. There's a code on here. And then essentially what that code means is if you don't file it, it's already set for them to be doing it for you at some point and filing it. So if you got to file stuff, order the wage and income information for each unfiled year that needs to be filed. You can also order an account transcript if there are any payments you made that were not withheld from an employer. So if you're self-employed and you made payments on your own and you're not sure what it was, the account transcript will have that data. The wage and income will have W-2 information, mortgage statement information, and 1099s that you've received. So here we go to the states, and this is just kind of general. We're covering generally what happens with most states. So state not filed for more than 10 years. Often they go back many years, longer than the IRS. IRS and states will usually come up with much higher balances than you really would owe when they're doing it for you. Both the IRS and the states typically come up with a higher balance, but sometimes they don't. California will use professional licenses just to come up with a balance. California and New York are also the best at collecting on people once they've left the state. And here's an example of California just coming up with a balance. They actually sent me a letter for $9,000 saying I owed it when I had been living in Las Vegas because I'm licensed as a California attorney. And I wasn't living in California. And I forgot to change my address on the actual bar website because really you just get spam at that. Most people are just spamming you there anyway. And they assumed a debt based on the professional license. So I get this letter. Pretty much I had to call them and explain to them. And I literally sent them a copy of proof that I'm now living in Nevada. And then they wiped out the debt. But people that haven't filed anything for years, we had a client who was an esthetician and lived in Utah for quite a while and didn't ever change the address. And every year kept getting this letter saying, hey, you owe us money, you have to prove it to get it taken off. So statute of limitations are also higher in a lot of these states. That means they have more time to collect. So New York and California both got 20 years. And there's some things that can extend that just like the IRS. So when you're doing the state, you also want to get wage and income information from the state because that's going to show how much tax was withheld and paid to the state. And that's not going to show on the IRS transcripts. So I even called some states and they didn't have the data. And really the best thing is request a copy of W-2 from your old employer. If you still have that, you don't really need to call and order all the data. And you can use that data for the IRS as well. File what needs to be filed and proceed on resolving the debt. Some states like California, they will not even review an offer in compromise until all the missing years are filed. They'll actually send you a letter back and says, hey, you need to file this, this, and that. I have heard that now they're making some exceptions for really early 90s years and some late 80s years, but I would call in, if you're not sure, the offer and compromise department or whoever's doing your case, we would call in just to be sure they're not actually asking for it. But the technical rule is you're supposed to have everything filed. You can't just use their filed tax return to file your settlement. For example, the IRS, if you owe it on 2008 and they did it for you, they don't care. That's considered filed for IRS purposes. All right, there's an easy way to deal with it. You can just call us 888-515-4TAX or 888-515-4829 or go to trp.tax. You can go to the contact page on there. You can go to the live chat or just call us. We order the information, check it all out, file what needs to be filed, and proceed on the best resolution. And if we cannot help you, we'll tell you. We don't make promises on settlements or anything like that. But if we think there's a good shot, we'll tell you. If there's not a good shot, we'll tell you. And we'll pretty much just get you the best result legally possible. If you're going it alone and you can't have anybody help you for whatever reason, check out our free tax help guide. Just go to trp.tax/tax help. And there's a lot of information with forums on exactly how to do a lot of this stuff yourself, including offering compromise and getting garnishments off. So thanks for watching. This is Tax Resolution Professionals, and have a great week.